All right, guys, we're back with the Screen Team. I've had a few minutes to cool off, to calm down, to relax after Guy's negative review of The Godfather Part 3.
It's amazing what tranquilizer and meds can do.
Yeah. I needed quite a few of those, man. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about a movie that was released a couple months ago. It was called The Ghost in the Shell, and this was a film that a lot of people were really, really excited for. Guy, I'm not familiar with the subject matter. Ghost in the Shell, that is a Japanese animated cartoon?
Yes,
movie?
that is an anime based off of the manga. Mm-hmm. It actually is considered one of the most pivotal animes.
Okay.
If you want to get into anime as an art form, as a filming style, this, Akira, Ninja Scroll are some of the key films that you want to look at. Mm-hmm. This particularly because, yes, there's nudity, yes, there's all the tropes that you expect in anime, but at the same time, what you end up seeing is brilliant artwork, fantastic, and this is one of the few of the last hand-drawn. This was completely hand-drawn animation back in 95. And it's just absolutely beautiful. There's a couple sequences that they recaptured in the live action that we'll get to in just a second. But it's one of those few animated films that you feel the pain and you understand what's going on. And whether you're watching it subtitled or dubbed, it works in either form. Okay. So we got a little bit of the backstory with that. So this new live action stars Scarlett Johansson. And I guess before we get into the particular film, let's talk about a little bit of the controversy with this film. A lot of people were upset that Scarlett Johansson was cast as the main character. Okay, let's correct this. Okay. A lot of Americans were upset Scarlett Johansson was cast. You go to Japan, where they showed some pictures of her, and they said, with the bigger eyes, she looks more anime. She fits for the part. She's beautiful. They didn't care. It's only Americans in the United States of the offended that had a problem with it. Because they were saying that it was whitewashing of the character, right? It wasn't. The whole purpose of the premise is your ghost, your soul, your spirit exists in your body, which is your shell. She is a cyborg, 100%. Her brain is living in a completely artificial body. This is a future where cybernetic augmentation has allowed you to change parts of your body. If you want to, like Bato, her partner, if you want to have cybernetic eyes to enhance your vision, see X-ray, you can do that. If you want to put in compression into your neck so you basically can LoJack into data streams, you can do that. She is the first 100% artificial with a living human brain. Okay. Or supposedly. Okay. So what is her mission? What is her overall story arc in this film? She works for a section of the police called Section 9. Okay. She hunts down essentially cybernetic criminals, people who hack into ghosts and steal information. You find out her backstory, and how do I put this? They keep the Japanese in her simply because they acknowledge who the previous consciousness was before it got put into the Major's body. Okay. And in the anime, it's Motoko Kusanagi. Well, that's the name of the individual who died to give her her brain and her ghost. So that's how it's maintained. She is able to hack. She is able to perceive. the questions that are raised in the anime are the same questions that are raised in the film. Where does humanity leave off when you add cybernetics? Where do you leave off and the fake begin?
Mm-hmm.
What makes you you? What makes a human human? Is it just the sum of our memories, or is it something more intangible? Whereas the anime raised those questions in a very subtle, thought-provoking way,
Mm-hmm.
the movie kind of ham-fists it a little bit. It's Hollywood. They tend to think their audience is a little dumber. But it still raised the same questions.
Okay. So the question I have for you right now is a lot of critics and a lot of people who went and saw the film were a little bit disappointed. Were you on that side of the fence?
I was disappointed at the fact that they tried to take what was essentially a really thought-provoking story
Mm-hmm.
and dumb it down. And they tried to make it a little more simplified
Mm-hmm.
and ham-fisted again. It was difficult. There were sections that I thought cinematography absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the entire design of the thing. There were issues that I had with some of them being boring.
Okay.
Some of the scenes drug on a little too long. Some of the ideas were a little too, not thought out properly to translate into live action. They also eliminated one of the protagonists the antagonists from the translation from anime to live action. They eliminated the puppet master, which was the essential bad of the original Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
They replaced it with the failed experiment before the Major. I had problems with that. I really wish they would have kept with the puppet master, which is essentially what happens when all the information and collective intelligence that we put up online develops its own consciousness.
So let's go back to Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about her performance in the film?
I thought she was fine. She did everything that the Major was supposed to do. She was questioning who she was, what she was. Her interactions with people made for uncomfortable sequences.
Mm-hmm.
She was comfortable being naked, which made her partner Bato very uncomfortable. That was straight from the anime.
Right.
When she wears the thermoptic camouflage, which is essentially a completely nude suit. She's running around basically naked.
Good times. Good times.
Which doesn't bother me. But the fact that she has that disconnect from humanity and she's questioning what is what and where the line's drawn, it makes for more interesting and more thought-provoking.
Let me ask you this. Is this a film that you want to give another shot down the line, or is the once enough for you? Is this a film you think you can give a second chance to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. After seeing this, I went home and immediately watched the anime.
Okay.
And gave myself another viewing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to actually do an adaptation ideology compare and contrast. That's where I was sitting. I originally was on the complete negative fence until I went and rewatched the original. And that's what led me more to some of the parts were boring, but overall it was more of a faithful adaptation than people want to give it credit for.
So let me ask you this. If you're not familiar with the Ghost in the Shell mythology, you don't know anything about the original anime film, is this a film that those kind of people, someone like me, who doesn't know really too much about it, do you think there's an audience for people who don't know a lot about the subject matter?
Absolutely. You can go watch it without knowing the original source material, and you may find some of the parts drag a little bit, but overall you would enjoy yourself. Just know that does do the philosophical thing, kind of in the same. I mean, if you watch the original anime, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of green scrolling font all over the place in the original opening. That was taken to The Matrix. The Matrix stole from that. The Matrix stole the basic philosophy of where is humanity, where is information.
Yeah.
From Ghost in the Shell. It's influenced a lot.
Bunch of plagiarists, man.
So you'll be able to notice where a lot of things that came before it and took from it, you'll notice that there's a lot of the same familiar ties. If you like the first Matrix and its philosophy, you'll like this one a little bit more because it makes the philosophy a little bit more grown up rather than, as simplistic in grade school as the philosophy of the original Matrix was. Because I'm going to get a lot of flack from this.
I
hate the Matrix.
I was getting ready. A hot take coming.
I hate the Matrix.
I think that sounds like another movie review down the line.
Not. I mean, all of them. The entire thing of the Matrix, I hate. But I enjoy Ghost in the Shell because, like I said, it's not grade school philosophy. It's more sophisticated. And if you're willing to sit there and actually go as a thinking viewer, not just check your brain at the door, you'll have a good time. It's really an enjoyable ride.
Movie is called Ghost in the Shell, and it stars Scarlett Johansson. Guy, we'll have to get you back on and do the Matrix because I wanna hear that take you got on it, man, for sure. Guy, you're
gonna force me to watch those and torture me.
You had a passable grade today. You had 2 very, very good reviews on Guys and Dolls and also Ghost in the Shell. You were a little weak on the Godfather Part 3, but we won't hold that against you.
It's a good thing we're not doing this on a grading curve then.
Guys, always, man, I appreciate you and your insight, my friend.
I love it.
Always love having you on the show. We'll be back again next week with another edition of the Screen Team right here on KWOC. Guy and Chris, and remember, we want you to know before you go.